games don't start until about 5 o'clock, maybe 6 o'clock and after. So you have great time to get these. Here first, you have under 0.5 innings. One total run with a negative 125 odds. All our singles are going to be the same, under 125. Let me reset for those of you who don't know exactly how to find that. Your Phillies versus the Marlins for your innings props, and you'll be getting negative 0.5, under 0.5, negative 125 odds. Add that on. However much you would like to wager. Maybe you're only betting $3,000 on that stock. I don't know how much you bet with, okay? Next, like I say, all of our singles are going to be the same thing. So under 0.5, one total run for Red Sox versus the Mariners, and same thing for Guardians versus the Giants. We'll go back to our MLB. We'll find your Mariners, your Red Sox versus the Mariners, and then we'll click on that there. You're going to your innings prop for this one, okay? Total runs, and you're getting 0.5 under. Now, notice how your parlays change from a single bet to a two-bet parlay. You can still go bet on those single or individual how you would. For example, maybe you want to bet $5,000 on this bet now, okay? Next, you have your under 0.5 one total runs for the Guardians versus the Giants. We'll go ahead and place that bet as well for your Guardians versus the Giants. Up, down there, innings, props on there, one total run, 0.5 under. Make sure we go ahead back and match that up as well. This does match up to a negative 40 odds, but the closest that we get here is a negative 150 odds. Nothing wrong with that. You can bet it as 1-4 on parlay if you would like, or go back down to your singles and bet on those individually. However you like to bet, make sure you assort yourself out properly. Don't use more than 15-20% of your betting portfolio or whatever you got to do. For your parlays here into today's trades for Ozzy Albies to get over one hit. Okay, so Ozzy Albies for the Mets versus the Braves on your Ozzy Albies, the Mets versus the Braves. We'll go ahead for this one. You got to go to your player props and you got to go find hits. Hits for Ozzy. You looking for Ozzy Albies for over 0.5 hits. Make sure we match that up correctly. They are usually for over one hit, of course, over 0.5 hits when we're talking about them just getting a hit. Those are like the easiest bets that you can get. And so for Jose Ramirez, Guardians versus the Giants, we'll go find your Jose Ramirez for your Guardians versus yo Giants. Guardians versus the Giants, right up in there. You click on player props. We looking for your hits. Jose Ramirez for over 1.5 hits. Notice it's a 4-bet parlay now. A caution sign that we didn't update those. We're going to have to go ahead and, like I said, you might not know the players too well. Since maybe you don't feel comfortable with betting $4,000 on them. Maybe you only want to bet $1,000 on that one. And then, or maybe maybe you feel less confident for Ozzy Albies, so maybe you only want to bet 700 on that one. Cool. Next, you'll be having your next parlays for the Nationals to win, Rockies versus Nationals, Yankees to win, Angels versus Yankees, Rangers to win, the Royals versus the Rangers. Okay, these are money lines. Nationals, Rockies versus Nationals. You have to go back to your MLB picks. Rockies versus Nationals. Somewhere up down there, Rockies. Did I pass? Oh, right here, I did pass it. That's your money line up here. It says winner. So what we have here currently is your Rockies, Nationals to win. So Nationals to win. Click on your Nationals down there. Now, on these, like let's say you're going for the money line, okay? So the only thing is about the money line is, for any bet, you never know who's gonna win in the end, truly. Now you can go based off of different stats and different odds and so on and so forth, but a game's a game. So anything could be changing very fast. Just keep that in mind. Next, you got your Yankees. They are to win. And then lastly, you have your Rangers. The Rangers are to win. We'll find your Rangers up and down there. your Rangers up and down there. And again, you could like I said, you got to sometimes you got to switch this up. You could bet usually you could bet all on straight parlays together, but you can still always, of course, change that up to for your individual wagers. Maybe you want to wager it all. Maybe you want to put all total $30,000 that you are betting for today into there. Or maybe you want to just bet it all individually still. 2,000 on that game, another 4,000 on that game because of the Nationals is your favorite team, so on and so forth. You know, I don't know how much money you bet with. I can't decide for you how much money you bet with. I can only remind you to only use 7 to 15% of the amount of money of your, you know, your accounts you feeling comfortable with, so you don't end up washing yourself out or doing anything crazy. Don't do too much. Now, your WNBA alerts. Wow. So India versus Fever for a 17.5 spread. So you got to go back here. You got to click on your WNBA. You looking for the Fever? Where is that? The Fever? I just passed that. Okay, Suns versus Fever for a negative 17.5 spread. Okay. Again, you know, I don't know how much money you bet with Minnesota Lynx for 13.5 spread. You're gonna find your Minnesota Lynx for 13.5 spread. Then you'll have your New York Liberty for 8.5 spread. Your New York Liberty for 8.5 spread. Notice how when we click these, our numbers are matching up exactly. Our odds are matching up exactly right now. When the game starts, those odds can change and stuff like that. They'll change later on. So you want to see them early, which is why it's my duty to be getting these things out to you early, of course. Now, for this one down here, you got your PrizePicks alerts. Remember, these alerts do go out in your Banking with Billy Sports Betting Discord, where we put out all of our sports bet alerts that you get on a daily basis. Okay. Now, talking about your PrizePicks. So these are pretty straightforward. Okay. These are strikeouts. If you ever see KS, it means strikeout. Ray for 0.5 strikeouts, Bivu for 4.5 strikeouts, and J Luzardo for 4.5 strikeouts. You will simply go and now this is taking you to the Prize Pick website, but I don't want to take the time to log into there right now. So as simple as going back to your MLB on your Prize Picks or wherever it is, you're going to go to your player on MLB. You have to find the team, of course. We're looking for Cleveland versus SF. I have to look into these teams and stuff like that. In fact, we already on Prize Picks. I might as well just get the login in. Let me see. Allow. Let's see if I can still log in to this. Because, you know, if you're going to be betting off the Prize Picks, it's probably best for you to be seeing the Prize Picks alerts, of course. Yeah, I knew I might have to. I don't have a code. Okay, log in. Probably should already had all this ready. But you know, it's really not too much to see either way. Really just showing you what it looks like, what the differences are, and how to place your bets and so on and so forth. And so we just exit out of that. Remember, we go into MLB here on MLB, and these are you were looking for strikeouts, okay? Strikeouts. Remember, so you got R Ray, B Woo, and Jay Luzardo. We got R Ray. Oh man, I didn't mean to click on that one. You got R Ray, B Boo, Z Luzardo. You have to find those things up there somewhere, wherever they at in there. But oh, here we go. I gotta go change this to strikeouts. It'll be easier to find. Picture strikeouts. Here we go. Here we go. Jesus Luzardo. They go one right there for 6 strikeouts. You'll go ahead and just add that on there. You got B Woo, I believe, somewhere up in there. B Woo, Brian Woo for over. And the last one we were looking at was R Ray for R Robbie Ray. Now notice now notice they strikeouts are a little bit different. Dog says over 4.5, 5.5, and the numbers on there are just a smidgen for 6 and 6. Well, you get what you can. You know, and you better get it early before those things and those odds change up either way. And like I say, you don't gotta I don't know how much money you trade or invest with, but don't use too much you don't feel comfortable with using. That's the name of the game there, so you don't watch yourself out and keep things going. But either way, these are sports bets for the day. We'll keep these things updated day by day. Be in the Discord so you can actually get those alerts on time in case I'm not making a video on time that day, and you'll be able to participate in the rest of the alerts going out in the rest of your sports betting sections as well. Each different section has their own sports bets, and there is also a gaming section and casino down there as well. And we do also put out our stocks and crypto alerts for people to buy and sell. It's easy money. We know what you're going for.